and welcome to episode 2 of the ESCAPUZZLED podcast, your one-stop shop for all escape room, immersive and tabletop games. Today you are joined by Helena, that's me, hello, and also Corey.
Hello. Not only are you joined by us, but you're also joined by the incredible Deb and Gemma of Dreadlock Escape Rooms in Bodmin, Cornwall.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
So,
Hi.
if you don't know, Dreadlock Escape Rooms in Bodmin, Cornwall opened in late 2019, and they've expanded over the past few years to now host 3 rooms. We've got Let's Begin, which is a nostalgic board game themed room, Witch Way Out, which is a spooky witch spell book heist, and Detention, where you're wrongly accused of stealing a teacher's belongings and you have to seek to prove your innocence. How are we doing today, ladies? Are we well?
Yeah, we're good.
Thank you.
Good.
Sun's
Excellent.
shining in Cornwall, which is a very rare occurrence these days. So no, all good.
You say Cornwall, in my head is always sunshine and surf. That's where my
it's
brain goes
complete
for
opposite.
Cornwall.
No, it's always
It's always raining, which
That
we
sounds like
don't
the UK.
mind.
No, it means busy escape rooms when it's raining.
Yes.
There's not much else to do in Cornwall.
I think it rained for the whole 6 weeks of last summer, didn't it?
Yeah.
Which was brilliant for us.
Perfect.
Mm.
Love that.
Yeah.
Business through the roof.
Yeah.
First things first, we're going to do what we like to call our escape room player profile. This is sort of a quick fire question round where we get to know you guys as escape room players and obviously as owners as well. As I say, you're more than welcome to do this either as a pair or as individuals. And our first one up is your player type / stereotype. So we recently put up a blog that has the different types of people you find in escape rooms. So you've got the likes of the leader, the puzzle nerd, the clumsy one, the scaredy cat, the explorer. So what would you guys say you're most like in an escape room?
We're quite similar with our traits, so we kind of both try to be the leader. We're both very competitive, but
We're both quite organised.
we are.
So kind of go in with a bit of a like technique. don't
Yeah,
we?
right. Let's go look around
Let's
the
kind of
room.
scour
let's
the
see what
room
we-
first.
Although we always miss something. We're both scaredy cats, though, so we have tried some spooky rooms. But for us, we spend more time arguing about who's going to open things or who's going to. We're both terrified of what might be behind.
That's mostly me absolutely refusing to do it and just going, no, Deb, you do it. You do that. You do that.
Whereas I've got a huge fear of spiders, so I spend a lot of time worried that there might be a fake spider behind something or inside. So I've shut my eyes a lot and just So
I'm exactly the same, so I
we're
fully
both
understand.
scared of that.
Anything in a horror room where you have to put your hand in a hole, not for me.
yeah. So
On the flip side,
I
do
love
love
those
horror.
puzzles. I love the ones that you've got to put your hand in, like feel and figure out what it is.
well,
Yeah, I
I don't know one of ours there. We have that in one of our rooms, but obviously there's no spiders in there because
It's not dark and
intentionally.
spooky.
I had an escape room tell me once that there might be spiders in a game, and
Mm.
then they had one of those puzzles, and I was like, nah, somebody else has got that. We
Yeah.
are not getting through this if I have to do that.
Mhm.
We quite
When you-
often have to check that there won't be any fake spiders because Deb would literally leave the room.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
Wouldn't play the game. So we quite have to check beforehand, don't we?
That
Mhm.
is understandable. When you say you're competitive, are you competitive in the sense of just wanting to sort of blast through it as fast as you can, or are you going for sort of record times?
We just want to win.
We want to escape. That's the first. I don't want to go to an escape room and not escape. Partly because we're competitive, but also I just
We
don't
wanna see
I want to
everything.
see all of the puzzles. Like we'll probably talk about it more later. But when we went to Tully's, we knew that people said how hard Tully's rooms were, not necessarily because of the difficulty of the puzzles, but because of the sheer magnitude of how many things you had to do in there. And we wanted to see the whole thing, so we were running around like bloody headless.
We knew we
chickens
had
in
to
there.
run.
But yeah, we are competitive. We don't want to fail. Yeah, we don't compete against each other as such. It doesn't matter who solves the most things. In different rooms, we both will be different. Like we're quite evenly matched in terms
We
of
work
our,
together well.
Yeah, but some escape rooms will come out and I'll think, oh, you did a lot more than I did in that. You gelled with that one better, and other times I'll gel with the puzzles better.
Yeah, but it balances out based on your
Yeah,
personal
yeah.
strengths, doesn't it? I know
Yeah.
Nethercot Manor at Tully's especially is absolutely humongous.
Yeah.
We did it a short while ago, and you can ask for a 90-minute version of the game.
We
so
did.
We
you
did
can-
do the
yeah,
90 minutes.
so you can get
And
through it,
we
which
still only
is
just did it.
Yeah.
super useful. Yeah, but all of Tully's rooms are absolutely stunning.
They are
Um,
amazing.
Next is your favorite theme. What do you guys like to see in an escape room theme wise?
Do you want to go?
We're probably
first?
quite different on this, are we?
Probably.
So I think mine is more not necessarily a theme, but I like the whole collection aspect. So like where you've got to see how many bars of gold you can get out of a bank heist, or that kind of thing. I quite like it. So that's not necessarily an escape, is it? It's more a
extra
it's
challenges.
where your goal is like where your goal is to see how much you can retrieve of something.
Yeah.
I love those games too. I think the heist in Newcastle do it really well. You've got to get everything you possibly can, and it gives you points, I think, or adds minutes to your time. I can't remember what it was, but I was like, oh yes, an extra layer, absolutely.
Everything.
Yeah. But then you don't necessarily fail either, do you? If you don't get it, or you've not failed, but you just haven't retrieved the full amount.
Yeah. Me, I don't, again, it's not about a particular theme, because I've enjoyed so many different rooms with so many different themes, but I do like humor. I like fun. Like if I walk in and something's really bright and colourful, if a room looks good, obviously the puzzles are important as well, but if they were great puzzles but the room looked crap, it wouldn't. I do like to walk in and be like, oh, this looks fun.
I do think set design is very much make or break for me too.
Yeah. I don't want to go in and have stickers on 100 things saying "Don't touch this, don't touch this, don't touch this."
It's that sort of.
Yeah, I want to be immersed in the experience, and most of the time, it's very rare that we aren't. But no, I do. I like fun rooms. I want to go in and be a kid again.
I feel like humor is very underused in escape rooms. Obviously, fear is very much used in sort of nostalgia, but I feel like humor is not one of the. I think it's a very difficult thing to do because it's so niche to each individual person. But would be nice to see more funny rooms.
Yeah, we've tried to put a bit of humour in each of ours.
Yeah.
We can't really say much about how we've done that.
Silly little things, isn't it? That people just kind of spot and go.
Yeah. There's one element to our board games room where, we've had over 2,000 teams in there now, and yet every single time this one element happens in a game, when I'm running it, I still laugh with the team, and they will always laugh when it happens. And it's just, I'm not bored of running it. And you'd think after that many teams, you'd be like, oh God, but I laugh along with the team every time. And
I know exactly which element you are talking about because I absolutely loved it too. On the flip side of that, what is your least favorite theme? Or like you mentioned there, it doesn't necessarily have to be a least favorite theme. One of the things that you don't necessarily like to see in escape rooms.
So my least favorite theme is definitely horror. I don't book them. I don't even read the descriptions. I just go, absolutely not. I'm not playing that.
But our witch room, like, even though that's spooky in that, if we hadn't built that and we could go and play that, I would love it.
Yeah. But I wouldn't say that's
I don't want to be
that's not a full horror
I don't
room.
want to be
I mean proper horror.
Rooms. Yeah, but we probably would love them if we actually did it.
No, I wouldn't. I'd spend the whole time wanting to cry. That one at Oakhampton, I wanted to run out of there and cry.
Well, you did. When we found the way out, you left. No. If I go and do a room, I don't particularly enjoy the room, then if that room was I'll just pick a pirate theme, for example, it wouldn't mean I don't like pirate themed rooms. It's just if a room's done well, I'll enjoy it. So I don't really dislike any theme.
I think there's some themes as well that are quite overdone, but actually, again, it just depends on whether the room is done well.
Yeah.
Like there's lots of pirate rooms, there's lots of bank heists, it's that kind of thing, isn't there, where there's lots of the same theme, but it depends whether the room's done well.
It's original puzzles. I don't want to just see puzzles that that's off the internet. It's nice to see a bit of uniqueness in a room.
Adding their own personality to a room's such a big thing.
Yeah, definitely.
This one if you ask this to any normal person, they will be like, what are you talking about? But for somebody in an escape room, this makes sense. What is your favorite lock?
So we don't know if you've heard of them. We've got some, we've used them before, called Moore's Locks. They're a company that 3D print locks. We've used them in our rooms. You can have any symbol you want on them. You choose your number of reels that you want, what any symbols you want, any colours, and it's all 3D printed, designed exactly how you want it. So we've used them in like our Christmas rooms where we wanted symbols for things, and they're just quirky. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, so it's always nice to see one of them pop up in a room. We've done a couple now where you see it and you're like, oh, that's a Moore's Locks. Yeah. But they're really good.
And he's a lovely chap. He's come and played all our rooms, hasn't he? And he does escape rooms a lot, and just really nice guy, small business.
Sorry, a little plug there.
Yeah, a little plug there for him.
We do,
by all means.
We do.
But no, they are good fun.
Yeah.
It just adds a completely different element to puzzles, because you can, with like the being able to choose what symbols you want on them.
It's
We
like
can
you see-
design a puzzle around whatever we want.
You see letter locks all the time, and as an escape room owner, I mean, probably all owners have the same thing. You get a letter lock off the internet, and half the time there's like the same letters on every reel. You're
There's
very
only a
limited
certain
to
amount
what
of words
words
you
you
can
can get
make.
out of it. Obviously, with a custom built lock, you can have them to say exactly what you want on every single letter of every single reel. You can have, say, numbers, symbols, shapes, pictures. You know, we had a Christmas puzzle one where we had all different Christmas presents on it. So you had dinosaurs and
Kids' toys.
yeah. So they're really good. I like those locks, but they're quite new for us seeing them in rooms. Other than that, you can't beat a good old directional lock, I think.
That's my favourite.
Rest in peace, directional lock.
They're nice. We've done a room where they had in excess of 20 moves to open the lock, and that to me was a little bit excessive. It was like, but a directional lock, if it's not ridiculously long to have to open it.
Anything up until 8. Anything after that's just
Yeah, I
preposterous.
think it was 22, 23,
I think it was
something like that.
26.
Oh, was it? It was just like, oh my
Oh
god.
my goodness. I just lose track of them.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an obvious puzzle either, so you could go wrong quite simply, you know, without realizing it. And it's just, that was.
You're unsure then whether you've put it in wrong or whether you're
the lock's
actually
just-
completely off course.
No, but I do like a directional lock.
When you pull it and it doesn't do anything, you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Reset it again.
Double click it, start all over.
Yeah.
Love that.
I didn't think there was any new kinds of locks that I wasn't aware of, so I'm furiously Googling now.
If there's a link to that, we'll put a link in the show notes.
Okay, you'll find them. They're really good.
Perfect. I know what's going in my basket.
Yeah.
And on the flip side of favorite locks, not necessarily locks specifically, but what is your least favorite puzzle to find in a room? The kind of puzzle that you get to and you go, oh goodness, not this.
Cogs. Don't like them.
Hate them.
Where you got to connect the little cogs and turn them around to spell something out, and they're normally bought off the internet, and they don't quite
As soon as I
line
see a
up.
cog, I hate it.
Morse code.
Yeah. When I got to listen to Morse code.
Yeah.
Yeah, Morse code needs to stay in the Second World War, I think.
I think I'll walk away as soon as we have to listen to Morse code. I'm like, you can do that.
Another thing I don't like, and it might just be a personal thing to me, but I don't like having to have a walkie-talkie to talk to a GM, because if I'm immersed in a room and I'm pretending that I'm a secret agent or I'm a witch hunter or whatever I am, I don't want to have to go, hi, can I have a clue, please? And then have like Joe Blogs talking back to me. Well, so what have you done so far?
Yeah.
I like to have
talkies.
a clue system where you can
Themed
still
clue
be immersed.
systems.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, TV screen or something is fine, but I don't like having to talk to a person, because then you're like, I can't hear what you said. Can you repeat that?
We
It's
did
just-
do one once where they shouted at us over the door. Didn't
Yeah, they didn't have any
No
information, so
way.
they just stood outside the door shouting to you what you need to do.
Yeah, go and look at that.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm on a submarine anymore.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Because if you are shouting through the door, then you are underwater.
Yeah.
So you could at least get. But the room was good. But they've closed now, so I'm not saying anything about a company that's still going.
For obvious reasons, all of their GMs drowned trying to offer clues.
What's your favourite way of getting a clue that you've ever seen?
I really enjoyed Tully's where it was the voices were in character.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
So-
that.
They're talking their clues at you,
Yeah.
but they were completely in character, weren't they?
Mhm. We
And
had a-
you kind of didn't feel like you were asking for a clue. They were just, it was like there was your
They-
friend there chatting to you,
they
like, oh,
knew
go and do
when
that.
They knew when to do it. We've also done a prison one in London, and while the room wasn't up there with one of my favourites at all, I like the fact that the person kind of giving you hints was almost like pretended to be a cellmate. So they were whispering through, like you could hear them talking to you as if they were talking to you through the vent from the next cell.
Oh, I like that.
So you don't feel again like you're getting a hint. You just
Why
feel,
can't I remember this room?
don't you?
No.
So when we started and I had to get a shoelace to get something. I was in a cell.
talking
Yeah,
to us.
somebody was talking like through the vent.
Evidently, somebody asked for more clues than the other person in that room.
That was when we kind of first come across escape rooms.
Yeah, we were quite new to them.
Quite
then.
new to them then.
But yeah, no, walkie talkies for me just are
That's our like backup. If everything goes wrong, we always have walkie-talkies. But I think just simply a screen and you've got mics in the room so you can hear what they're doing.
Exactly.
Really playing along with them.
Like it if they don't have mics in the room, because I don't know if they can hear what we've already thought and what we've already tried to work out.
But there's also some escape rooms that just don't have mics, and some of them that don't have CCTV either. And I think that's absolutely wild. You're just playing from audio. And also, as a game operator, you want to like see and hear everything that's going on.
Well, you have to be able to run the game properly. You need to know what someone's already thought, what they've already tried, what codes they've already put in.
If somebody has said the right answer in one of our rooms and they go over and they try a lock and basically we see all the time, people can't open a padlock.
Yeah.
Well, if they don't ask for a hint, I don't want to send them a hint on the puzzle if you know they've actually already solved it and said the right thing. So if somebody did that, we would just send in a hint saying, you had the right code, try that lock again. You don't want to then give them a hint to do something they've already done, and then it looks like you're not watching their game. So no, we would always want to see and hear everything.
And it's part of the entertainment. There's the stuff that people come out with when they watch the domestics we've seen.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Goodness, I can't even imagine.
Great fun. It's just people watching, isn't it?
Best job in the world.
One final quick fire question before we get into some more in-depth questions about the business and things like that is if you could build an escape room dream team, let's say you or you two and 3 or 4 other players, they can be alive, dead, fiction, non-fiction, who would be on your team?
Okay, so we want Gordon and Liz from Review the Room.
Yeah.
Smart.
They've done how many rooms now?
Oh, well,
I think they've gone over the 500 mark, but they're brilliant.
Definitely over 400. When they came and did detention, that was something like 420 for them or something like that. But they are just like...
They're brilliant to watch.
They don't even look like they're rushing. Like we feel like we're running when we go into an escape room. They just look just so casual about it, and they like get out in... Well, they did some rooms in Plymouth. There's a company called Escapism in Plymouth. We love their rooms as well. But we saw that Gordon and Liz had been there and done all of their rooms in something like 20 minutes each. Not all of them in 20 minutes, but each room like 20 minutes on that one, 22 minutes on that one. Then we went and played the rooms, and we're talking like 45 minutes. It's like, how on earth have they done that? And as they were watching them in our rooms, they just look so calm and
they've still got the record on one of our rooms at 28 minutes. And I ran that game.
2 people with them in that one. There was 4 of them.
There was 4 of them, but they still came back the next day and set the record on
the which one,
the 2,
which has been beaten now.
But they just seem to just fly through it. So we definitely want them.
They would be on our team, and I would want Dawn French on my team. Not because I think she'd be any use in an escape room, and but I just love Dawn French, so she could just be in there just for the fun factor.
Comedic value.
Yeah, for the exact same reason I want Ozzy Osbourne on the team, because I think he would be hilarious in an escape room. I mean, he can bring Sharon along for fun and just shout at Sharon that he's found stuff. But just for humour, I think Ozzy would be brilliant.
The clue system comes through Sharon and only Ozzy can shout for it.
Yeah, brilliant.
There we go.
We've all got to shout Sharon.
Sharon!
We might just start doing that from now on.
We're doing Ozzy,
and no one will know what we're doing.
So Gordon, Liz,
Ozzy and
Dawn French. What a team. And us, obviously.
And us.
It's quite the team, quite the mess. That is not at all what I expected as an answer, but what a mix.
Sharon, where have you put the key?
Some practical ones and some less practical ones. We love it.
Brilliant.
We kind of know both of our origin stories by now for escape rooms, but where does yours come from?
Well, so I'd heard of escape rooms. Well, how far back are we going now? It must have been about 6 years ago. In fact, I'm trying to think now. I saw somebody's post on Facebook, and somebody had been and done an escape room. And at that point, I was like, "What on earth is an escape room?" Hadn't heard of it. And then I saw another post come up, and I sort of looked into it and saw that it was something to do with puzzles. And I've always loved puzzles. I've always been into anything that tests my mind. Like as a kid, all I would ever watch is challenge TV. I just love anything puzzly. So I thought, I quite like the sound of that. But I also suffered back then quite badly with anxiety. Didn't like the thought of being locked in, so I was like, I want to do that, but I don't want to do that. And then I saw an offer come up. I started following one of these pages, and I saw an offer come up to do this escape room, and I thought, I'm going to go for it. So I went along with a friend. did this room. And as soon as I got inside the door, I thought, oh, wow, I absolutely love this. It was just right up my street. Forgot the anxiety issues as soon as I got in there. I was hooked. I came out and I was like, I want to do another one. I was just completely obsessed. And then not long, probably a month or two after that, me and Gemma met. And I sort of said, right, do you fancy coming to do an escape room with me? And she's like, what the hell's an escape room? That sounds a bit dodgy.
That sounds scary. I'm not doing that.
And
the wimp came out.
But then she did a room and absolutely loved it as well, just as much as I did. So that was it. We were both then hooked. And as soon as we got a chance to go and do anything, it's like, right, let's go and do an escape room. Let's go and do an escape room. Yeah. And
I think your first one will always be kind of like your favorite, even though the first one, now looking back, the first one that I did, it wasn't overly amazing compared to some of the ones we've done, but it was just that, oh my God, this has opened and look, there's a secret door here. And it was just like, wow, this is brilliant. And, you know, we've both got the same kind of mindsets that we love board games, we love puzzles and anything that will kind of challenge us. So yeah, we just got hooked instantly, didn't we?
Yeah, you loved it just as much as I did.
Yeah, so that became our little hobby. And then we decided to turn it into a business.
Yep.
So what was that transition like? So why did you decide actually we're going to open an escape room of our own? Was there like a need in your area?
So we kind of sat down one evening and we love board games. We were playing a board game and
we'd already had the conversation,
having a chat, and we said, oh, wouldn't it be brilliant to do our own, to own, you know, what a great job that'd be to own an escape room company, how much fun. And we said, oh, what theme would we do? You know, just talking completely hypothetically, what theme would we do if we did one? And we said, oh, wouldn't it be really easy to do one based on board games? So we sat down, I think it was probably the same evening, and we were like, right, you go in one room and design a puzzle, I'll design a puzzle, and then we'll swap and solve them. So we did that for an evening and we came up with a few puzzles and was like, actually, this might work. This sounds quite cool. I like this. I'd like to play this.
Pretty much like that evening, I'd say 6 or 7 puzzles that are in Let the Games Begin were designed that evening. I've still got, like, on the laptop that night when I went off, I think you went off with pen and paper. I went off on the laptop.
The designs are
still there, and they're the ones that are used in the room to this day. And I sort of did them that night on the laptop. But yeah, as soon as we started swapping puzzles, going, oh, actually, that's really fun. That's really fun. That's really fun. And we just thought, well, shall we go for it? So that was it.
We kind of go off on a tangent as well, don't we? Once we start something, it just kind of spirals, and we'll, you know, go to sleep, wake up and be like, oh, I've thought of another puzzle. And it was kind of like that, where within a week or so, we'd had a whole game designed. Didn't really think much of it, did we, at first? And then we just approached we'd said about, you know, where would we, if we were going to open one, where could we open one?
So at the time, Gemma lived in Llanivit, which is a little village just outside of Bodmin. And I don't even know how it dawned on me, but there's a holiday park in Llanivit where I used to go as a kid. They've got like the main complex bit with a swimming pool, etc. But they had a building out the back which used to house a golf driving range. And it's a massive building. I think it wasn't really used for years from what I remembered. So I said, why don't we approach that holiday park? And if they've got this disused building there, maybe we could utilise some of that space. So we arranged a meeting with one of the guys that managed the leisure side of things there, and sort of put a proposal to him that, look, you've got a derelict building sat there. Why don't we use it, turn it into an escape room and give you a share of the money it makes? And yeah, they went for it. So it kind of all went on a whim, didn't it?
Yeah. We didn't really even think it would be a real thing. And then we had this meeting and come away. And a few days later, I think I wasn't with you. And you text me, didn't you? Or rang me and was like, guess what? We're now escape room owners. Like, oh, okay. So they'd gone for it, but we didn't think they would, did we?
The building was in 3 sections. So at the front of the building, there's like a smallish building that I think they used to use for laundry and stuff. And it'd been very run down, very left, like the roof leaked and everything.
It was disgusting.
Water damaged in there. And then that joined onto a massive building out the back, which was basically full of crap, but it was just like used for storage. It had just been left.
Like a maintenance shed.
Yeah, so that was just full of rubbish, not being used. And then joining onto that was this derelict golf driving range that again had been sat there for years. So we took on the bit at the front, which is where we've built Let the Games Begin. It was just a never-ending battle to get the water up. We finally.
We also had a few lockdowns thrown in as well.
Yeah,
we opened just before COVID.
But we've had to build rooms within the room, if that makes sense. So
we had an empty shell, so there was nothing in it.
Building, yeah. But we built it with a plan of, there was a little door that gives access to the maintenance shed that was full of junk. So we left that doorway accessible and built like a corridor around to it. it, hoping that if it went well with Let the Games Begin, we could perhaps speak nicely to the park and see if they'd let us move into the maintenance areas. And they did. It was such a hit with the first room that they were like, yeah, no problem, use the other
Kick the
space.
maintenance guys out,
So,
didn't
yeah,
they? It's
so
like,
they-
you have to find somewhere else, boys, sorry.
Yeah, so they weren't using it for anything. They were
No.
just storing a load of
It's
rubbish.
just a dumping ground.
So yeah, they cleared that out, and that gave us enough space to build Which Way Out and detention and a bigger office to run all of the rooms from. So that was our lockdown project. Really, when we got thrown into one of the lockdowns, we thought, right, well, let's use this time to build. So we built Which Way Out.
It's so nice that all of the elements of like who you are and, you know, going to the holiday park in your childhood and it all coming together and all, it's so nice and nostalgic and such a warm origin story.
The actual building that we're in is where, as a kid, we used to go up there and we used to use the driving range all the time. We'd hang out up there. We'd take some bottles of beer up with us. Don't tell my parents. But we would up there all day, sort of all, you know, just round the back of the building that we are now owners
Using
of,
as our
really, yeah.
business.
And we actually now are building our new rooms in the golf driving range bit that was derelict. We've now started work out there. So it's just so weird to be where I spent a lot of my weekends in my childhood.
Now you spend all your weekends
Yeah.
there.
With less bottles of beer, I assume.
We've graduated to wine now.
Champagne, sweetie.
No one sees what's in the bottle.
It's just a nondescript coffee flask. What do you mean?
But everything just seemed to fall for us right at the right time. Like
Yeah.
even things like the COVID and the lockdown, for a lot of businesses, we realized it was a really bad time for a lot of people. And, you know, we do feel for a lot of businesses who, you know, so some didn't survive it. They closed. It didn't. For us, you know, thankfully, it really worked out well. It gave us the time to build.
We were both
And
working in schools as well at the time.
Yeah,
we had other jobs. So
Yeah, I was teaching at the time. So, you know, still had an income from that. So for us, the lockdown actually did us a favour, apart from the fact that we couldn't see our families and we were shut in a house with 2 feral children and having to homeschool. No, it was, you know.
But in terms of actual like building, it gave us that time to build, didn't it?
Because
we haven't had since.
No, with detention, we were trying to build detention whilst running 2 rooms that were extremely busy. Yeah, they were in there 1 minute sanding a ceiling and covered in filler, and then it's like, oh my god, I got a team in 5 minutes, and you're trying to make yourself look a bit presentable to go and group, because we do like to run games.
We're very much perfectionists, aren't we?
Mhm.
And it was our little baby that had gone so well, and everybody loved it, and all our customers love us. That we didn't really want to cut the apron strings, did we, and hand over to staff. So we were just trying to juggle everything. Weren't we? And
Like, no,
I
we're
think
not having
sometimes
staff.
a good GM or a bad GM, you know, determines whether you've had a good game. So like sometimes we've gone and, you know, the GMs just haven't been up to standards of those. So it's kind of ruined the game a little bit when things like aren't reset properly, or, you know, you've been given the wrong clue and things like that. So we didn't want that, did we? We didn't want to.
We've been so lucky to have such lovely reviews and such great feedback from everything we did. And I just didn't want to employ some staff and then to see a bad review come up going, oh, we did that, but the GM reset the room wrong, or the GM was rude, or the GM wasn't watching our game. So yeah, we just tried for a couple of years to do everything ourselves.
So we didn't have any time off at all.
And we
I think
didn't want to say no to bookings, so we were like, "Yeah, we'll do it.
go
We'll
for it.
open
We'll
up
come
at
up
10
at
o'clock
midnight."
tonight." Yes, yeah. We
That's
have
one of
done
the
some-
main things that I remember, certainly from my experience when we were coming down. I was like, oh, could we do the room at this time? And you were like, well, we don't normally open at that time, but yeah, sure, we'll come in early. We'll run it. And I was like,
We can't say no.
"Oh, okay.
Part of the job, we also we absolutely love escape rooms. So for us, it doesn't feel like working. We love it. We love meeting all the customers. We love chatting about escape rooms. Like quite often we'll still be there after the booking chatting away, won't we, to people? But so it doesn't feel like work. So especially when we were just kind of just down the road, it was like, okay, I'll come up. It's fine.
Yeah, I think we spent a good hour, maybe an hour and a half talking afterwards about escape rooms and geeking out. It was very nice.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of other businesses are like, oh yeah, that's great and all, but could you get out? We've got another room in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's-
I mean, sometimes we have to do that in like summer holidays when it's back to back and we don't have as long, but we will always still try, don't we?
It's difficult because we always sort of put on our booking thing, and it probably comes across as a bit really like, please do not arrive early. I know a lot of escape rooms will say, please come 15 minutes early, but the trouble is if we ask people to come 15 minutes early, they'll come half an hour early. It's so difficult. We used to just have 2-hour slots. So there'd be a 10 o'clock game, 12 o'clock game, 2 o'clock. But it meant we could get less teams in a day. And through the summer, we turn away so many phone calls on the day. So we decided to do hour and a half sort of slots. So 10 o'clock, 11:30, 1 o'clock. But it does mean
We have to go like
we
the
have
clappers.
to go like the clappers. But it just means we can get an extra couple of bookings in a day. And it's not because we want to make more money. It's not for that. It's just we didn't want to keep saying no to people. But yeah, it just means if a team turns up half an hour early, then I was like, sorry, there's still another team in the room that you're wanting to go in. So it's not that we don't want to be sociable, but we always, if we can chat to teams after their game, then we will. We love.
Quite often one of us will come in. If like you're chatting to a team, I'll come in and start resetting behind you so you can still carry on your chat and people don't feel like they're just being shoved out the door.
Southern teams are very different to northern teams, because if you tell a team to be 15 minutes early up here, they will turn up 2 minutes early. And then you're massively rushing to get everything in ready.
We have people turn up an hour early, don't we?
They knock on the door and you're like, hi, yeah, we're here for the 1 o'clock game. Yes, it's 12 o'clock. Yes. Well, you've just said you're here for a 1 o'clock game. Yes, we just wanted to get here in good time. Yeah. And it's not that we aren't pleased to see people, but the trouble is with our room, we don't have a lot of space inside for people just to kind of come in. And if you come in, you're going to probably hear spoilers, especially if you're booked in for Let the Games Begin, because the sort of like reception-y area is right by that. And we wouldn't want somebody to come in and hear answers from another team and stuff. But
also if people are escaping into a reception, you don't want the next team sat there waiting whilst the team come out. It's like, who are these? Hello.
So, we are building another holding area, and we're going to be outside putting a decking area with cover over it so that people, if they do come early, they can sort of hang out there. We've got some outdoor puzzles that people can then do. So yeah, we've got plenty of things in the pipeline to kind of so people can arrive early and won't be told to like, can you please not come in for 5 minutes? So, but no, we do love meeting all of our teams.
So as you mentioned there, obviously your customers are, I assume, predominantly families, especially people going on holiday and stuff like that down south. But obviously our rooms cater both to families and enthusiasts. So how do you choose your themes and how do you choose your puzzles to cater to both? Because they are two very different types of people.
Yeah, so we tend to do our theme first, don't we? We will pick a theme, kind of design what we want in a room, and then we kind of do the puzzles around that, don't we? All our puzzles are kind of themed upon the room so that they are in keeping. Like we said, it's not just puzzles taken offline and we can shove in a cog or we can shove in a bit of Morse code because we're in an escape room. But
theme-wise, we always think we want to build a room that we would enjoy.
We just want fun, don't we? We want fun.
We don't build rooms for enthusiasts, but we also don't build our rooms for beginners. I think we like to have a lot of puzzles in a room so that if somebody doesn't escape, they still feel like they've opened a lot of locks or they've done a lot of puzzles. They don't go away thinking, if you
they've still had an hour of puzzling, haven't they? So they don't feel like they've wasted their time or money.
If you build a room that's going to keep an enthusiast in there for an hour, then our holiday makers that come down aren't going to stand a cat and hell's chance of getting out. But if you have 15, 16 puzzles in a room that need to be done, then even the likes of Gordon and Liz, who absolutely blitz it, well, even if they have to spend 2 minutes on 15 puzzles, at least they're going to be in the room for a minimum of half an hour. So we go with a lot of puzzles in our rooms and not necessarily overly hard, but we see enthusiasts who will come in, and we had a family came down there, escape room owners, and they've done over 500 rooms. And on paper, our board games room has the highest escape rate, but they did all 3 rooms, and that one, they were in there for about 50 minutes because they completely overthought one of the puzzles. And they enjoyed it, but they found that one the hardest. And then we've had beginners who've sailed through in 40 minutes and not needed any hints. So
we always tend to suggest to beginner teams to go with that one as a first time room, not because it's easy, just because it has a higher escape rate. People do seem to gel with it when they've not done a room before. But then, we'll get quite experienced players that will just massively overthink it.
I overthink absolutely everything.
We were doing that last night. We did an escape room last night and we were overthinking something, weren't we?
We just build the rooms that we think we would enjoy that. Oh, that puzzle, I'd enjoy that. We always say, I wish we could play our rooms. Yeah. That
sounds really big-headed.
Yeah, I don't mean I would have enjoyed that. And we love playing escape rooms.
We like quite light-hearted themes, don't we? So for for us to be able to play a board game theme, we would have loved
We
that.
would have loved that, but I don't think it's a theme that I've not seen it done. Any obviously, you got in London, you got the Monopoly thing, which isn't really an escape room, but it's a thing based on Monopoly. But I haven't seen that theme done because it's not a theme. You're not obviously in detention. You're going in with a mission that you've been stitched up and you've got to find something. And in Which Way Out, you've got to retrieve or go and steal this spell book from some crazy old woman. But in the board games room, you're basically just going in to try and get out. So it isn't a sort of a mission as such, but it's heavily themed in terms of the decor. You walk straight in and it's a blast from the past.
Yeah, I think it was actually when Gordon and Liz came and played that one and they set the record on it. They did the whole room in 28 minutes, no help at all, flew through it. And I thought, oh God, I feel awful that I didn't know at the time that they were,
Superhuman.
complete pros and had done rooms. They kind of bluffed that one when I was briefing them. Felt bad, like, oh God, they've wasted their money, like they've done it in 28 minutes. But they loved it. They had a great time. And they said that's the kind of room that gets people hooked on escape rooms.
Yeah, if you've never done one before and you do that, you'd go away going, oh.
And that's what we see with we get a lot of beginner teams, and quite often they don't get out because they've not done a room before, and it is just down to kind of experience on your first go, isn't it? But they love it. They all come out absolutely buzzing. We send them off to their cars and we can hear them going down the path talking about it and how much fun it was, and we know that they're going to go off for the next hour chatting about different elements of the game. And that's why we do it.
We get a lot of guests from the holiday park that will come up, and you can see that they're staying on site and the parents don't really know what an escape room is, but they've said, well, brought the kids up, they wanted to do it, kind of thing. Like the parents almost think that they're not going to enjoy it, and they come out absolutely buzzing. Like the parents have
completely overtaken.
Get out of my way, I'm doing this. And then they leave, and 5 minutes later we've got a booking come through and they've booked to come back the next day and do another room, and they very often do all three in their week's holiday.
We also try to cater for all ages, so we don't build games for kids. All our rooms are adult rooms, but we let children of any age in. They can't always solve all the puzzles. Obviously we have 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds in there, but they absolutely love being part of the team, and they are so cute to watch because they go around, instead of calling their mum and dad, they'll be going, guys, come and look at this.
They
and they just turn into a little their teammates instead of mum and dad, and it's just lovely.
I found a key like that, and it's so nice to watch.
But we've had like 2-year-olds in there and we've had 90-year-olds in there, and absolutely everyone loves it.
And the thing is, when we let kids in, very often it's them that find things that adults miss. When I'm briefing teams, I like to say, right, your job, you guys, you need to look for stuff because grown-ups never look properly, and the adults won't realize it, but when the little child will go, Mom, I found a key, that's such an important thing, because
they need it.
There's a key in one of our rooms where 90% of teams don't find it, and you can guarantee it's the little kids on the team that do.
It's a different perspective.
Yeah, definitely.
Totally. And they don't overthink. You get teenagers in there. There's one puzzle we've got in the board games room, and you got adults who really overcomplicate it, and then you just get a teenager who will just stand there on their own and just look at it and just do it in seconds. But again, it's not a room that none of our rooms are designed for teenagers, and we do sort of have a ratio. There has to be one adult for every 3 kids. Escape rooms are becoming so popular, kids are hearing about them, or they're hearing that their parents have been off and done them, and they want to have a go. They want to do them, and some owners we've spoken to sort of don't allow children in for various reasons, but they're our next generation of escape room players.
Catch them early and rinse as much money out of them as you can. I like it.
Children are the majority of the time very well behaved. There's now and again we have to just say, send in a little hint saying behave yourself. But
in Cornwall, it's a massive tourist place, and if you say no children, you completely wiping yourself out of so many families. All families come down to Cornwall, mum, dad and 2 children looking for activities. If we say no under 8s, or then you just lose so many bookings.
There's certainly escape rooms popping up here and there specifically for children or catered more towards children. I know there's one in Newcastle City Centre has a game for kids, which is great to see, because as you say, they are the next generation of puzzle enjoyers, and it's definitely better to get them hooked on puzzles than something that's not going to be as good for them, like beer at golf ranges when they're young.
Don't judge us.
Hey, no
I think
judging.
we've
I was
all
doing
done
the
that.
same.
Yeah.
When we
Well,
first opened, we did say about doing a kids' room, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then we got a few teams in with kids, and we were like, let's not do one where the kids are
Just
going in
kids.
without adults.
Yeah.
We very quickly changed our mind on that one.
Yeah.
We don't mind when they've got their parents in there saying, no, don't do that.
Sticking with the topic of children, obviously one of the things that you guys do outside of sort of the main escape room business is you do take your escape room boxes into schools to help educate in schools. Can you tell us a little bit more about your boxes and sort of why it is that you do that and why you think it's beneficial?
Yeah, I was a secondary school teacher for a lot of years, about 20 years, show my age there because I'm only 21 really. But yeah, so I've taught for a lot of years, and teaching children to think outside of the box. Nowadays, a lot of kids, they don't think for themselves. Everything is screen based. Doing anything in school, it autocorrect. Everything does everything for you. Kids don't really have to think as much as they used to. You know, you want to find something out, you just Google it. So I just really wanted to try and do something where we could get kids thinking outside the box a little bit. And so, yeah, I just sort of said, why don't we go around to some schools and do some stuff? Obviously, you can't take an escape room to a school, but we came up with the idea of the box challenges that link to the curriculum. So basically, we have 6 sets of coloured boxes, so you can have up to 6 teams racing against each other. We recommend that sort of like anything from 3 students on a team to up to 5 really. So you can basically do a whole class in one go. And the concept is they're all sat in teams. We give each team a puzzle to start them off. That puzzle will give them a code to open their first box, and then they're off. It's a bit of a relay. So you take the contents of your first box back to your table. You solve that puzzle. It'll give you a 5-letter combination, whatever, to open the next one. And it's so they're doing the escape room aspect in terms of opening padlocks and that, and the puzzles are all escape roomy style, but they link to the curriculum. So there's a history based one, then there's a maths based one, a geography based. So we sell it to schools by the fact that it is completely linked to the curriculum for year 5, year 6 students. But kids absolutely love it because it's that, oh, we've opened a lock. Most kids are like, they haven't seen padlocks, they haven't seen letter locks, directional locks or whatever. So it's just a great, way of introducing them to it. And it is really good advertising as well. We're not doing it for that as such, but at the end of the day, we are a business, and for a business to make it, you have to have customers. And all of the children we see on that day, they go home with a certificate saying we cracked the Dreadlock school challenge. So the parents are all hearing like, Dreadlock, what is this Dreadlock? Yeah. We obviously put on photos of the experience, so the parents go to our Facebook page to look at the pictures of their little dears doing the challenge, and they think, oh, that looks quite fun. Or the kids go home nagging, can we go to Dreadlock? And before you know it, you've got another load of customers that you wouldn't have otherwise had. So
it's all just adding to the word of mouth, isn't it?
It is. It's just putting your name out there, but we actually enjoy doing it as well.
It breaks up the week a little bit when we kind of are there all day, every day, but then we have a school thrown in, so it's something different that we can go, okay, let's go out today.
That is amazing. I'm so jealous that you're in that position to do that. That's so incredible to be like, oh yeah, it's fine. On a weekday, we'll just disappear for a couple of hours and then do a lesson. I love that.
We do lots of mobile stuff now. We kind of started with the school thing, that went well, and then we've kind of adapted the same kind of idea, but so that we can do it with a lot larger groups. So we do like staff functions now. I had to do one the other day because you weren't able to work, were you? So I had to do one on my own. Let's brave it for like 60 adults. But again, it was out of those 60 adults, they all absolutely loved it. And there was only one person there that had ever done an escape room before. So that's another 59 people that are now going, wow, that was fun. Let's go do that.
Sort of thing.
It's so different. And I think, especially from sort of a teaching perspective, I think tactile and immersive learning is definitely going to be something, I think, going into the future that's going to be more prominent. Hopefully less towards the VR side of things and more towards the actual in-person immersive learning. But for the children, much like myself, when I was in school, I would learn through doing stuff and being creative more so than just sitting and reading from a website. That tactile learning added so much more
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's lovely to see as well, because there's children that are struggling with the academic side, but actually put them into this scenario and they thrive. And
Yeah.
we quite often see with the schools that it's not we always say to the teachers, kind of group them so that they've got a bit of a mixed ability. So there is, some of the children that are really good at maths and English and everything else, but also some of the children that struggle, put them together in a group and see how they work together. And quite often it is the ones that are struggling on the day-to-day activities that actually come out on top, don't they?
Yeah.
And they go, because you just don't overthink things.
Yeah, we've, had sort of families that have come along and they've sort of said, I'm bringing my child, like he or she is autistic, whatever. Will that be? Yeah, and it's like, my God, these are the sort of children that come in and absolutely thrive. They're brilliant. It just seems to just click with them and absolutely come into their own once they step in there, puzzle solving and stuff. So it's lovely to see, say, in schools when you've got children who are perhaps normally bottom of the class when it comes to tests and bottom of the class for this, suddenly they're opening the box before somebody else and they,
and they're feeling good about themselves because they've done something.
Time to shine.
Yeah, they've beaten the ones that are usually top. It's lovely.
And we always get the teachers to do it as well, but we don't give them any assistance. But the last puzzle, the last box, is one where everybody gets it wrong on their first go. It's basically teaching you not to skim read something, and people read this thing and they do it wrong every time. With the kids, we let them have 3 attempts at the last puzzle. With the adults, we let them have 1 attempt at it. And so every time the teachers fail. So the kids all go away knowing that they completed the challenge.
They beat their teachers.
And the teachers didn't manage to do it.
I don't think we've ever had a teacher get it correct.
We've always got it wrong.
It sounds like such a rewarding thing.
It is great fun.
It's good fun.
It is great fun. And our quiz nights as well, just another quick plug, but we do a quiz night with an escape room twist is a new thing we did. We actually did it for a charity thing. So was it just over a year ago. Sadly, Gemma's nephew, he at 14 years old, he suffered a heart attack. Which was pretty horrendous, and he was saved by a defibrillator. Luckily there was one nearby, and so we started fundraising to try and get some more defibs out into the local community. And part of that, we thought, right, let's do a quiz night. So we did a quiz night with an escape room twist, all raising money for charity, and it was a complete sellout. And we raised loads of money, and it was such a great night. And then as they were leaving, everyone was going, "Can't wait for the next one." Yeah, look forward.
Wow.
And we were like, "Oh,
we'd only planned to do the one. It was just an idea to raise money for the defibs."
So we've made it a bit of a regular thing. We don't have a set date when we do it, but we did a Valentine's themed one. We've done an Easter one. We've got one actually coming up on Wednesday. We don't do it for charity now because we charged a lot more per table for that charity one. But this is just something, the hours we put into it. If you work down an hourly rate, we're on -£5 an hour.
Yeah.
But it's
so
great
much
fun. So it's kind of like a normal quiz in the fact that you do have your quiz question rounds, but in between each quiz round, we have this escape room puzzle round to sort of briefly explain it. Say you've got 25 quiz teams, well, there'll be 5 locked jars on the bar, each containing bonus points. And we give every team a puzzle and we say, right, go. And everyone's frantically trying to solve this puzzle. And when they think they've got it, they'll run up and try and open one of the padlocks on the jar. If they get it, they get to keep the bonus points. And if they don't get it, they've got to do the walk of shame back to their table. And you've just got...
Which quite often happens.
Yeah, so teams are running up and down, and until all 5 jars are open. And again, it's just introducing people to the concept of escape room puzzles sort of thing. And so many people, had never been to Dreadlock before or been to any escape room. And then they come up now, oh, we came to your quiz. It's just, it's another great way of getting our name out there. It's a nice little bit of respite for us.
Yeah, it gets us out
from the escape room. But
I don't think I've ever wanted to travel 7 hours to do a quiz before. But
I'm sold.
Very much wanting to do one. It sounds incredible. That's such a nice spin on the norm of a quiz.
You let us know when you're next in Cornwall, and we'll book the quiz around you.
Perfect.
I feel like we've already booked this in my head. I'm going down in June.
Yeah. No, it's really good fun. And they got so popular that when we announced the quiz night on Facebook, one sold out in under an hour. So what we now do is we have to announce that we're going to announce the quiz. So
we do a pre-announcement.
This is your pre-announcement to tell you that tomorrow we're going to announce the date of the quiz. So people are kind of ready on their...
Because we had so many messages going, oh no, I missed it. So we have to give them a time now. now that right tomorrow at 9:00 we will announce the quiz. Get in there quick. So it usually sells out within an hour, doesn't it?
I don't know if you guys are tactically steering the segues for this, but they all just seem to keep falling perfectly with the next question. Because on the topic of quizzes, I believe most notoriously sort of in the news about Dreadlock escape rooms, you guys had Sean Wallace, one of the chasers, if I'm correct. And he was beaten by one of your games. Can you tell us a little bit more about that story?
Yeah, he's lovely.
Oh, such a gentleman. So that came about. A good friend of mine called Shane Solomon is an owner of a local company called Cornwall Channel. He sort of does a lot of work doing podcasts for businesses, like video podcasts and things. And he's been doing a lot of work, not only in Cornwall, but up in London and stuff as well. He's met Sean through that line of work somehow. And Sean has been down to Cornwall 2 or 3 times now, thanks to Shane. He's been down like hosting quiz nights, talking of quizzes, for charity. So we went to one of Sean's quizzes 18 months ago. He was doing it for the Cornwall Air Ambulance. Sean gives up his time free of charge to come down and do this work for charity, which is amazing. But yeah, we went to his quiz night and thought great fun. And it just came about that Shane managed to wangle Sean coming up to Dreadlock. I'd said to him about it at the time, like, it'd be great to get Sean up to us. But yeah, it came about on his last trip down that we sponsored the quiz they were doing. And Sean came up to Dreadlock and we stuck him in Which Way Out, which he said himself he had done an escape room before, but he said I was absolutely terrible. But we took that with a pinch of salt. But yeah, he was absolutely terrible. But not, obviously,
he was very stubborn at the beginning.
Yeah, I wouldn't ask that.
So he kept, the other teammate was saying, I think we need a clue. And he was like, no, we can do this.
Yeah.
We're fine. Just wasted so much time that they then couldn't catch up.
There's no doubt he's a very clever man. But we've always said escape rooms, it's not about being clever. 99% of the time, it's about being observant. If you don't see something that you need to see, then you're not going to move forward. It's not always about doing the puzzles. It's about knowing what the puzzle is that you should be doing.
Yeah, what you should be looking at.
And yeah, it's certainly a skill that the more escape rooms you do, the better you get at them. I didn't get out of my first one, but he was such a good sport. He really was, and he was polite.
Such a laugh,
and we gave him a peek into detention afterwards, and he went in there, and he didn't want to leave. He wanted to go in and do that. So I think he's going to be coming back later on this year.
We originally were going to put him in detention, but we sat down and spoke about it, and we said, there's a history poster in there that you need to solve that obviously you don't need prior knowledge about. There's something in the room that you're going to get it to, solve that one at a certain point in the game. And we said, he's going to know all of that without, so he's going to start in a completely different order to how the game is meant to run, which wouldn't have really affected it.
No.
But still, we were like, let's put him in the witch. And yeah, when we gave him a peek, we said, look, we were going to put you in here, but we knew you'd solve this puzzle straight away. And he just went in and went, yeah, that's, and reeled off these numbers, got the code within about 10 seconds. So, or probably less than that. But he had said he was going to come back in summer and do detention. He absolutely loved it. So hopefully we'll get him back in.
Yeah, fingers crossed he gets out of this one.
Yeah.
Maybe a little less stubborn next time. But you can say that you beat the chaser.
We can, and it's been great. We have had a lot of teams who've come in and said that they've seen that, that he'd been in. So when they escape from the witch one, they're like, we beat the chaser as well.
Or even if they don't escape and they go, did we get further than yeah.
That's what they want to know. But yeah, what a great sport he was. Yeah, really good.
It's always nice to see celebrities fail at things. Nice reminder that they're just normal people.
We get quite a lot of celebrities in Cornwall, so I want some more to come up. So if like Gordon Ramsay or anyone's listening.
Yeah, Dawn French. Dawn French, if you're listening to this podcast. Yeah.
Maybe Ozzy Osbourne.
Absolutely.
Ozzy.
If anyone can get Ozzy in, brilliant.
We did moving before, didn't we? We had a guy in
when we first opened, wasn't it? One of our very first teams.
And we were talking to him after. I said, you look really familiar. I said, drink in a pub locally or anything like that? And he said something, didn't he? He said,
then we said, what do you do? And he was like, I work in some restaurants. And we're like, oh, okay.
Anything
anywhere?
Local?
Yeah.
It's like Padstow Rockway or something, wasn't it? I don't know. Yeah. But it was only afterwards that one of my friends messaged. He said, I've just seen your team photo. You've just had my hero in, because he's a chef. And he said, you've just had Nathan Outlaw in your room. And we're like, oh, have we? Yeah. That's why he looked familiar. We didn't realise. But No, we do get a lot of famous people coming down to Cornwall. So
Fingers crossed. I mean, Gordon Ramsay's probably turned his nose up because he wasn't on your dream team, but I'm sure we've got a chance for the other guys.
Can we pause it and go back?
Yeah.
And just tweak it? Can we,
Let's just chop that
Ramsay?
bit in.
no, he would swear too much now.
Yeah, he'd get us kicked out with all his swearing,
Yeah.
wouldn't he?
I could come on brunch, please.
Yeah, let's make this happen.
Dawn even lives down here, doesn't she?
Yeah.
So she should have already been to us. Really, how rude.
Yeah, can we tag her?
Yeah, if Dawn French is listening, or anybody that happens to know Dawn is listening, please do reach out.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go slightly more broad here. It's almost a philosophical question, but it's still escape room themed. And it is, what do you think of the current state of the escape room industry, specifically in the UK?
That's a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because we don't really pay an awful lot of attention to what other kind of businesses are doing, do we? We just kind of do our own thing. We're very different in Cornwall. We're in a very touristy area, so we are getting still a lot of tourist trade. So I think we're possibly busier than other areas. So I don't really know. I don't know what.
I think I've seen a post recently on one of the owners' pages on Facebook, and I think somebody had put up how are people finding things at the moment. And some people are saying, that their bookings are down from last year, and it seems, people are questioning, is the industry sort of taking a bit of a dip? But I really think it depends on your area. Obviously, with the cost of living, the price of electricity going through the roof and everything else, people don't necessarily have that kind of expendable income anymore to be able to, let's go out and spend 80, 90 pounds going for an hour's entertainment. People can't necessarily justify that. But when you come to Cornwall on holiday, families have already kind of budgeted that, right, well, we're going to have this much spending money to do things. So they kind of will do an escape room. It's also an activity that mum, dad and the kids can do at the same time, as opposed to mum and dad having to sit and watch the children doing something.
We're very lucky.
We are very fortunate to be where we are. I think if we were sort of in the middle of nowhere and not in a touristy thing,
we
then
might be struggling
you
more.
probably would. I think for the industry, though, there's still so many people who have not heard of escape rooms, or so many people who have heard of them and think that they're something that they're not. Like they think it's like the Saw films or something.
I always find it, if I go to an appointment and they ask what my occupation is and I say I'm an escape room owner, and they're like, oh, what's that? And it just, reminds you again, like, God, there's so many people that don't know what they are, that I think it is just a constantly growing industry. I think it will I don't think it's something that will, die off. I think it will just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And there will be, ebbs and flows where you're going to have times where it's going to be a bit quieter and people are going to be struggling with money a little bit more. I think you've got to adapt your business as well to meet the times. Like, we try and keep our prices as low as possible, not to undercut everyone else, but actually because it's only an hour of someone's time. Like, I think we've always said there's a certain kind of limit to what you can charge for an hour of someone's time.
Yeah.
They could spend the same amount of money and go to the zoo for an entire day. Yeah. So we try and keep our prices down, don't we?
And because we are family friendly, very often it is mum, dad and 3 children coming in, and you think, well, they've got to play a 5-player game, isn't going to be cheap. So if it's 5 adults coming, then normally they'll split the bill and they each pay their bit. So then it's not so expensive. But when it is just, a family coming in, it is quite an expensive activity. So yeah, we do try and keep our prices, and we obviously...
That sort of accessibility, though, obviously, as much as other owners might see you as undercutting or whatever, but at the end of the day, they come to your escape room, they do your room, they thoroughly enjoy it, and then they go off to other escape rooms and give them business as well. So as much as it could be seen like that, again, the accessibility and getting people into the hobby and into the escape room space benefits everybody else massively. And I think obviously introducing more people to it, it makes it such a big and such a friendly community as well, which is also massive. We've
got flyers all over in our reception. There's flyers on the table there for local companies, so we're not sort of like... In fact, a customer yesterday said to me, I won't say the name company, they picked up a flyer and said, oh, is this you as well? I said, oh no, that's another company nearby. And they're like, oh, why is this flyer here? It's like, because we're not arseholes.
Yeah. It's nice to support other businesses.
Exactly. Like, you've been and done our room now. If you enjoyed it, go and do theirs. Like, you're not competing in that respect. But yeah, I do think, the industry is going to grow and grow and grow. People have said to me before, do you think it's going to still be popular in 10 years' time? And I actually do. I really do. There's a few sort of like industries that have started over recent years, like axe throwing and stuff, which I actually did a couple of months ago for the first time and really enjoyed it. But would I then go and look for other axe throwing venues? I don't know if I would, because at the end of the day, you throw an axe against a target, and it doesn't matter where you're stood. It's not. I don't
Once
think
you've
there'll
done
be
it, you've done
themed
it.
axe throwing things. Whereas every escape room you go to is
It's so
totally
different.
different.
There's also the negative side to that. I feel like a lot of people go do an escape room and don't necessarily have a great initial experience, and then just assume that all escape rooms
Yeah.
have that same experience,
have
which
said
is
that
obviously an
before
issue as
when-
well.
Yeah.
Like if we've done a bad one and we've kind of said, oh, if like someone goes and does that as their first ever room, they're going to go, oh, I'm not doing that again.
What a waste of money or whatever.
But that's again why we try and go down the route of like fun, family friendly. But we always try and think when we're designing our rooms, like all our rooms are wheelchair friendly. And I think that's a massive thing as well in this day and age, that like when we did our first ever escape room playing, there was a section you had to open up something and go, crawl through it or something. And there was no other, way of getting around that. So you're cutting out a lot of, your trade for anyone that
Even
of that side.
I know some venues you are limited with escape rooms. You need to have a venue where you've basically got no windows and you can't just stick an escape room anywhere. So often you do have to go down a load of steps to get to it or up a load of steps. But I think because we didn't and our building is all on one level, we've decided to make our rooms accessible. Even if you could just get one of our rooms accessible, would have been we want to be able to include. Yeah,
even when we're looking at like designing, rooms down the line, we're already thinking about certain kind of crawling, climbing aspects, but still having an alternative route that it doesn't matter. Like, what if someone is in a wheelchair? How can they get around that?
Yeah,
it's really nice to see escape rooms that have catered to as many sort of disabilities and things like that as possible, like catering to colorblindness for colored puzzles and catering to people that might not necessarily have such a sense of sight. Or, as you say, like 90% of the escape rooms in the Northeast are up 3 flights of stairs. By the time you get to the top, you're already dripping with sweat before you get into the room. So it would be nice for sort of every escape room to have sort of one room that is available to as many people as possible. Just to change the topic ever so slightly as we come to the back end, if you were to go back to the beginning, obviously excluding the likes of COVID from the equation, would you guys change anything, or would you give yourselves any advice, or would you leave it exactly the way it happened?
Pretty much.
Yeah, Gemma said that to me earlier, and I actually, honestly, I wouldn't change anything, because even when something's gone wrong, we've had to find a way around it, and then you learn from that, and you think, well, I won't do that again. It's nice to have challenges. Yeah,
but we've also been incredibly lucky. Like fate has definitely been on our side, and everything has just gone so smoothly, hasn't it? We haven't really had any kind of issues along the way, have we? There's the odd, the leaky roof was a nightmare.
Was an absolute nightmare, but
we're over that now. Yeah. It's behind us.
But then again, we couldn't have changed that. That's how the building was. And would I be in any other location? No, 100% not. Yeah, we are so lucky, and not just for where it is, but it's such a lovely place. We open the doors up in the summer and step out at the end of the shift, and you can see the sun setting out. It's the most stunning location. If it wasn't for that building, we had to take the roof with it, and that came with it.
But in terms of building our rooms, like everything has just kind of worked, hasn't it? We are massive overthinkers in the fact that, like, when we're designing a room, we will sit and analyze every possible solution that someone could do, and we will dream about it. We will wake up, in the morning and go, no, we've got to change that, because what if someone does this? And, so we kind of get it to the point that actually when we open, we kind of already know that this is going to work. Because we have analysed and scrutinised every part of this game. It actually can't go wrong.
We do a couple of test games just for the sake of doing a couple of test games, just to sort of like almost for us to practice running it, if anything. Yeah. But we've not actually had anything go wrong on a test game, and we've not had to change anything really. We still change stuff, like even now we made a tweak the other day to let the games begin, and that room's been going nearly 5 years. But it's not a change because something wasn't working well. It's just we're always looking to kind of
make things a bit better.
If something can be better in any way, then we'll make it better. But it's not that it wasn't okay originally. I wouldn't change anything. Everything happens for a reason, and we're very thankful that everything has gone the way it has for us. It feels like fate, as you said, is definitely.
We're very lucky. We know that we're lucky.
We are lucky.
If you had a unlimited budget to create a new game, what would you build? What is your 3 a.m. idea that you need to build?
Oh. So it probably wouldn't be a theme as such.
Okay.
It's just that when we went to Tully's, we absolutely loved the whole going into another room and another room and another room and another
It's
room.
the space, isn't
It's
it?
the space and the decor, like
Yeah.
everything there. It is like a movie set. And you know they have spent hundreds of thousands building these rooms because of the set design. And that, I think, is what we would want,
So
isn't
an
it?
unlimited budget, I would just buy like a castle or something.
Yeah.
Huge building so that space would not be an issue.
So that we could create a Crystal Maze or a Fort Boyard or...
Oh my
Or
goodness.
buy a massive, massive, massive hotel that has got like 100 rooms in it, and then it wouldn't be to do a room of a particular theme, because I think even that room then, after a certain amount of years, would need to change. If I had unlimited budget, it would be a massive, massive room.
Yeah. And an amazing set design.
Amazing.
Just by
prop.
chance, the Fort Boyard Castle did go up for
that's
sale a little while ago.
Yeah, I saw that. That
Why
would be
do I not
amazing.
know this?
But
How much is it?
it would be very difficult to get customers to it and
That
GMs
is
to get to work.
very true.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you had rough seas, you
putting
couldn't
it
get to work.
Exactly. Yeah, it wouldn't work with we'd have to have a helicopter.
I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Oh my
you
goodness.
could fly. You could fly.
Imagine getting flown to your escape room.
Yeah.
Does it come with the tigers? Are the tigers still there?
I don't think the tigers are. If they are still there, they're very malnourished.
Amazing.
Well, I guess that would just come under your unlimited budget to create this
the
room.
tigers.
The tigers, the helicopter.
And you'd have to jump out of the helicopter as your first puzzle to land, or you'd have to try and open the chute. I'd have your parachute padlocked. So when you jump out,
My
you've got,
goodness.
obviously 1 minute to find the code to release your chute. Or you land.
We said unlimited budget, not unlimited safety. I mean, in all fairness, the budget could cover the insurance, so...
We just
When you've got that kind of money, you're not
pay for
even
lawyers.
worried about it. Oh, yeah. Insurance
Highest
will-
fatality rate escape room. I mean, that's got a ring to it.
Yes. Brilliant.
Get your
I
name
mean-
out there, wouldn't it?
Better off or worse, who knows? But
No, I think we'll stick to what we're doing.
Yeah.
You've touched slightly on what's kind of your next step. What's your future? So you are opening up the bigger venue. What does that look like for you guys? What's the next thing that you are creating?
what can
And do you need
tease
any
us
testers?
with?
Yeah, you are more than welcome when we are at that stage of testing.
Yeah. So we had a biggish room planned for next. When I say biggish, bigger than the ones we've got. We wanted to do something different.
Along the lines of like 6 or 7 room game kind of thing.
Not necessarily massive rooms, because we are still, when it comes to space, we don't have unlimited space. But we wanted a multi-room room. And that was going to be our next build. But we've decided, because we'd like to get a new room open in time for summer, because we've got room for more than one room in this old golf driving bay. So we're going to start with a smaller one. So that'll be open by the summer. And then we then know exactly what space is left that we can then use every inch of that space for the bigger one. So yeah, we're doing it a different way around. So yeah, we've got 2 more rooms in the pipeline. Plus we've got an idea for like a puzzle room type thing that's going to be a complete non-linear, not an escape room type thing, something completely different. We can't say too much about that yet because everything's still up in it. We've always got ideas. Our minds do not stop.
We always come up with ideas. We've probably got the next 10 games planned that, will eventually come in the next 10 years.
But things we've started, we have already, obviously being a disused golf driving range, one side of that building is open and overlooking onto a field. So our first task was getting all that enclosed, and that has begun already.
That started 2 days ago,
Yeah.
so we've just started.
But it's lovely. Once you see all the timber being delivered and everything, it's like we start to get the
We get
adrenaline
excited.
rush. Got that started, and we are starting work on the first new room. Then that'll be open by the summer. Then the next biggie. We've also we've started doing stuff for weddings. We haven't fully launched this yet, but we are going to be part of our mobile packages will involve we can go out to weddings and provide some entertainment for evening guests at weddings.
We've got our first one booked in, so we're going to kind of launch that after then. We're going to see how smoothly it runs.
Yeah, we're going to do that. We'll use the first one to get some promotional photos and stuff and then launch it properly. But yeah, again, we love being out there and meeting people, and just you can chat more about escape rooms when you're at that sort of thing.
Yeah, you're not limited to time as such, are you?
Yeah,
That is a rather risky beta test. Somebody's big day.
Yeah. Well, they've played all our rooms and they've loved all our rooms. And they're, always asking, when's your next one? When are you building more? So they like what we do. So we're hoping that it will just go as smoothly as our rooms have gone.
It's basically, to give a brief sort of explanation of it, it's going to be a team bride versus team groom type of thing.
That's really cool.
But it could also be team bride versus team bride, team groom versus team groom. Whatever the wedding is, whoever's getting married, we will be able to cater for it. And it's basically, when you go to weddings normally, guests kind of sit with their own friends and don't necessarily mingle that much. So this is going to be more about having to kind of mingle. So
work with your table. Quite often you're put on a table and you don't know half the people, and it's that awkward, it's a bit of an icebreaker, isn't it?
It is. So say you've got 20 tables at your wedding, then you'll split them down the middle. So 10 of you are going to be team bride and 10 tables are going to be team groom. They're going to be each sort of given a series of locked things that inside each one is tokens. So they're trying to solve puzzles, open things, get tokens, and run over and stick their token onto the team bride board. And it's basically they have a set amount of time to unlock as many things as they can. And at the end of that is which team's got the most tokens on their board, kind of thing. But yeah, it's very hard to kind of visualize what I'm saying. But once we get this
incredible, and I want to know where I can sign up for the guest list for this wedding.
But that's it's going to be easier to have one done. So we got the photos from that. So when we launch it properly, people can actually look and go, "Oh, that's what it looks like. That's what they're talking about." We also do puzzle jars. I don't know if you've seen those on our website. We sell a lot of them at Christmas and Easter and things. Basically, we have jars full of sweets that are locked with a padlock, and you get a set of puzzles in an envelope, lots of different themes we've got, and basically the recipient has to solve a load of puzzles in order to end up with a code to open the jar of sweets. It's an alternative to giving a kid an Easter egg, really, and it keeps them quiet for an hour while they're trying to work out how to get inside it. But yeah, we've been asked for somebody's wedding to do a custom made puzzle. So they're going to lock drinks tokens inside jars, so every guest can get a drinks token if they can open the jar. Yeah, we've done custom puzzles about the brides, so all their guests, basically when the brides are off having their photo shoot or whatever, it just keeps the guests entertained. And
there's that gap, isn't there, of about 45 minutes where everyone's having photos, but the rest of the wedding party are bored.
Yeah,
nothing to do.
So
we come in and entertain them.
Yeah, but with these puzzle jars, we're not going to that wedding. It's just another thing we do. But yeah, all the guests will just be given their puzzles and they'll try and solve them, open their jar and get a drinks token. So, all exciting stuff that we're going to be officially launching properly. We just have too many things on the go to
We're constantly saying, "Oh, we could do this, we could do that," the to-do list is never ending.
You need like another pair of you. That's why I always say.
But we can't delegate very well to. We have got some staff now and they're brilliant, but it's not things that we can say, go and do this, because it's something that we need to do.
Well, we'll try and delegate. Say, go and do that, and then they'll start doing it, and we'll just go, "Oh no, I'll just do it." But we don't actually ever.
But then that's where we can do more of the mobile stuff, because we have got staff that can run the games, and we know that we can kind of leave them to run the games, and we can go out and do the weddings and the schools and the staff parties and not have to stress too much. And we know that they're still running it how we would.
It sounds like you've got a very busy few years ahead of you.
Yeah, we don't tend to sleep much.
No, we never do.
We're always at work. We like our jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm definitely going to have to get my hands on one of these puzzle jars at some point, because sweets, great. Puzzles, great. I mean, what more could you want?
Exactly.
I'm just really sad I didn't think about this for my wedding. That sounds so lovely to
Gonna have to
have.
renew your vows.
Yeah,
No.
Tabitha.
We had an engagement around escape rooms. Like, we got engaged in an escape room. Why wasn't I thinking about puzzle jars upon my
Yeah.
tables?
Oh, there we go.
We've not had anyone propose in the escape rooms yet. I'm quite
No.
disappointed because I see this
Oh.
now and again where like people have had proposals in their escape rooms. I'm like, oh, no one's asked us that yet.
It will happen. It will
Yeah.
happen. You'll get a couple of nerds.
Yeah, love it.
As long as we get invited to the wedding,
Yeah.
it'll be fine. Yeah. But no, with the puzzle jars, if you want to take a look on our website and at the ones we've got, and if you have a look and you see a set of puzzles that you think, oh, I fancy trying that one, let us know, and I'm sure we can send you one up to have a go at.
That would be very kind. Thank you very
That's
much.
really lovely.
No problem.
So,
Where can our listeners find you? What are your socials?
So mainly Facebook. Facebook is such a great platform, isn't it? It's
Free
brilliant.
advertising.
It is. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
on Facebook we're just under Dreadlock Escape Rooms, and if you do use Facebook, it's worth noting that on a Wednesday at 5:00 we every week do a midweek brain teaser. It's not escape roomy as such, a bit more like a dingbat type of puzzle, if you know what I mean by that. But we put one up every Wednesday at 5:00 on the dot, and on the Saturday we announce who were the 3 fastest to get it. And it's now gone to the point we've got so many people. They set their phone alarms for 5 to 5 on a Wednesday so that they are there ready.
So you can be the first one.
And people just every week try and get in the top 3. But yeah, it's just a bit of banter. Yeah, we love it because we've got the same people messaging each week. They might be like 4 days after it's gone. Well, not 4 days, but like you'll get somebody on Saturday morning sending the answer going, I've been bloody thinking about this since Wednesday and I've finally got it.
This is probably the only thing where we are different on. So we are very similar in escape room and we work very well as a team. But Deb, I hold my hands up that the midweek brain teaser I have no involvement in. It is completely done by Deb. She creates them all. She will show me and I never, ever get them. So for anyone that is sitting there on a Wednesday going, oh, I never get them, don't worry, neither do I.
You have got the odd one, but if I show Gemma a brain teaser and she knows the answer, then I don't put it on the page.
It's too easy.
That's the way I go with it.
But I never get them. My mind just does not work in that way. But when you tell me the answer, it's so obvious.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Wednesdays at 5:00. So yeah, do follow our page for that. You can also find us on Instagram. Now, I admit I don't do Instagram, so that's down to Gemma.
And I am a bit useless at posting on there, to be honest. I don't use it as much as we should. We do need to get some more.
Yeah, we're not on Twitter. I do not tweet. I do not understand what tweets are.
We do not do TikTok. We are not actresses.
You are not.
I've never even been on TikTok. I don't want to be on TikTok. So we are not ahead of the times in that sense, are we?
In fact, I see children in the escape room when we're watching on camera, and you see girls all of a sudden start, I think, is she having a fit? No, she's doing a TikTok routine. They're like doing a funny little dance move at the camera, knowing that we're watching them. So that has put me off TikTok for life. So yeah, find us on Facebook. Our website is dreadlockescape.co.uk. Yeah, that's
it. Really,
that's about it. Yeah, Facebook is our main thing.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolutely incredible talk. It's been nice to get to know you guys. And evidently you have some absolutely incredible ideas. Your brains are always working, and they're working magically. So very well done for everything that you've done so far. And I'm excited to see what comes in the future as well. So we'll definitely be down to Cornwall at some point to give you the latest rooms to go, or to hop into one of the quizzes as well.
Yeah, we will keep you updated. We'll let you know if when we're nearing completion of the next rooms.
That's so exciting.
Any excuse.
Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Well, yeah.
Not a problem at all. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining us on a Friday night, which would otherwise be super busy with escape rooms. So
that's cool.
It's given us an excuse to have a few hours off
and just talk about escape rooms.
Yeah, which we could
nerd
go
out
on forever, couldn't we?
Excellent. And as always, if you are looking for our socials as well, we are ESCAPUZZLED UK on practically all social media. That's YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. I don't do Facebook, unfortunately. There's too many sad and depressing things on Facebook, so I avoid it like the plague. But everywhere else. Thank you very much for joining us today, and we shall see you in the next episode.